what is our first word today?
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Now, I bet you probably know that word already, but I just chose it because I thought that it's a good word to practice. I think it doesn't get enough attention. Have you seen that word before?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Overwhelming means a lot of work, so that people tired. Yeah.
It means like too much of something. You cannot manage it. It's too much to manage, too much to handle, too difficult to manage.
Yeah.
Have you seen that word before, Mohammed? Overwhelming?
Yes, it's a popular word. I see it all the time.
Yeah, it's a good word, but I figured you both probably knew that word, but I think it's a word that it's good to practice because it's a common word. It's a good word to know. Mohammed, can you read the example sentence that we have?
She felt overwhelming happiness
Hmm.
when she got the job.
Okay, but every time there's a W, that always starts with oo, ooelming. So it's not velming, but ooelming with an oo. Can you try to say that again with an oo? Overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. Pachu, can you read the example sentence?
She felt sorry. She felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
All right. Okay, now if we look at the first four words, she felt overwhelming happiness. Which words do you think deserve
Yeah.
focus?
Overwhelming.
Okay, overwhelming.
Yeah.
And which word should we? Those are two words. We've got over and whelming. Which word do you think we should focus on? Over or whelming?
Overwhelming. Whelming.
Well, if you,
Overwhelming.
what happens when you have two words together? Which word should always be focused upon?
So first,
The first.
rule first.
Mhm. So we should focus
Yeah.
on over, over. Which syllable gets all of the focus? Overwhelming.
Oh,
Oh,
first.
that's right. Oh, maybe we could also focus on the word happiness. Let's do that. Which
Yes.
word should we focus on, or which syllable should we focus on with that word happiness? Happiness.
Is a hap,
Hap.
hap,
Okay.
hap.
So we're making our big, small, big, small, big, small rhythm. She
Yes.
felt overwhelming happiness.
She felt overwhelming happiness.
Mohammed, can you say that? She felt overwhelming happiness.
I have a question about overwhelming
Uh,
here. I know overwhelming if a task is hard, so it's overwhelming.
mhm.
But this combination, I can't get it.
Well, have you ever been so happy in your life you thought you might die? Have you? Are you that lucky that you have ever had such a wonderful feeling?
Not really.
Okay, but you could imagine it. Could you imagine it? Maybe.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah, that's what it means. So it's good. I mean, it's not bad here. It's a wonderful feeling. I'm so happy. Maybe I could just die. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so it's a good thing here. It's not a bad thing. Okay,
Okay,
can you say this?
I will see.
Can you say the phrase again?
She, she felt overwhelming happiness.
Okay, she felt overwhelming happiness.
She felt overwhelming happiness.
Okay, now in that final phrase, when she got the job, which words do you
She,
think? Go ahead.
which word is important?
Yeah.
God
Which,
and the.
Which word?
got
Mm.
and the job.
Okay. Okay, I agree with you. So we'll make these are easy words to do because they're just one syllable. When she got the job. When she got the job. Can you say it like that? When she got the job.
When she got the job,
Mhm. She felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
she felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
The job or the job?
The
The. Okay. Say.
when she got the job,
Okay. Say the whole sentence again.
she felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
Okay. Pachu, can you say that final part? When she got the job.
When she got the job,
hmm She felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
she felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
Okay, Pachu, how many phrases can we divide this sentence into?
So, two.
What are the two phrases?
The first is she felt overwhelming happiness,
Okay,
and next is when she got the job.
okay. And that first phrase, she felt overwhelming happiness. How would you like that to sound? Do you want it to sound nice and friendly, or do you want it to sound serious?
And the happy.
Okay. So, how will you say this word happiness? How should that sound?
So first, happy is strong, or and prince
And
is low, high and low.
okay, so hap will be high, but then we have to
Yeah,
make the final part of the phrase low because phrases usually end low. Happiness.
happiness
hmm And how do you start the phrase?
is a high tone,
Uh,
overwhelming,
okay.
overwhelming,
Over is not overwhelming, but overwhelming.
overwhelming,
No, not ming. It's not. You do not. This is not a big sound. Ming is a small sound. Overwhelming.
overwhelming,
hmm Do it with a high tone. Overwhelming.
overwhelming,
Overwhelming happiness.
overwhelming happiness.
She felt overwhelming happiness.
She felt overwhelming happiness.
Mohammed, can you say that? She felt overwhelming happiness.
She felt overwhelming happiness.
Okay. How do you want the Mohammed? How do you want the second phrase to sound? Do you want it to sound nice and friendly and happy, or do you want it to sound serious?
Nice and friendly.
Okay. So, how do we have to pronounce this word job if that's the case?
In high tone.
Okay, but we have a problem. You're right. We have to say it in a high tone to sound nice and friendly, but we have to end our phrase with a low tone because that's how phrases usually end. So we have to go high to low. Job, job. Can you say that?
Job. Job.
Mhm. Job. You have to fall while you're doing it. Job.
Job.
Okay. And how should we start the phrase?
High tone.
Okay. Got the job.
Oh, got the job.
The job or the job?
Got the job.
Got the job.
Got the job.
When she got the job,
When she got the job,
she felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
she felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
Pachu, can you say that final phrase? When she got the job.
When she got the job,
Got the job.
got the job.
Yeah, when she got the job.
when she got the job.
Don't forget to whistle when you say the word she. She.
When when she got the job.
She felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
She felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
Okay. Mohammed, can you make a how she feel when get job question?
How did she feel when she got the job?
Okay. The job or the job?
The job.
The job. Say it again.
What did she feel when she got the job?
How did she feel?
How did she feel when she got the job?
In your question, how did she feel? What is the most important word?
How?
How. Okay, so because it's important, you have to make it big. How.
How?
How. How, and then how will you say how plus did plus she?
How did he? How did she?
How did she? The did and she are very small. It's just the how that's big. How did she?
How did she?
Hmm. What about feel? Is that a big word
Yes.
in our question? Okay, so we'll say how did she feel?
How did she feel?
How did she feel when she got the job?
How did she feel when she got the job?
Pachu, can you make that question? How did she feel when she got the job?
How did she feel when she got the job?
Okay, is feel an important word in our question, do you think?
Yes.
So we have to give it a lot of attention. How did she feel?
How did she feel when
Hmm.
she got the job?
See, that's better. That's more natural. It may be weird for you, it may be strange, but that sounds very good. How did she
Yes.
feel when she got the job?
Yes, I see the pattern. Yeah, the
Well,
high and low.
ex-
But I when I speak
mm,
in general, it like this same length in all syllables.
yeah, but the trick is
But
the more you practice,
yeah, practice.
then
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it'll just become a habit and you won't have to think about it anymore. But right now we have to practice it a million times. How did she
yeah.
feel when she got the job?
How did she feel when she got the job?
Okay. And what is your answer?
She felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
Mohammed, how did she feel when she got the job?
She felt overwhelming happiness when she got the job.
Okay. Mohammed, do you know this next word, intact? Intact.
No.
Okay. I the because I asked ChatGPT to make these examples, very quickly, and then I saw this one, and I thought, oh, I'm going to pick this because it reminds me of Egypt. Intact means undamaged, unchanged. So, if you think about if you visit a museum in Egypt and you see all of the amazing ancient things, right? Is it sometimes amazing uh, have you visited any museums in Egypt?
Yes.
Hmm. And when you see something, sometimes do you see something in perfect condition? Maybe it's 3 or 4,000 years old, and you say, "Oh wow, it looks new."
Yes. Tut, Tom, Tutankhamun,
Mm.
Tom is well preserved.
Very well preserved. Okay, So you can say it's intact.
Yes.
That means it's not damaged, it's in perfect condition. It hasn't changed in many thousands of years. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Can you read the example sentence?
The ancient painting was preserved 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 intact in the museum.
What does that mean?
It's like it has all its characteristics has been saved,
Hmm?
not damaged.
Yeah, it's like it's in perfect condition. It looks like new. Maybe not exactly new, but it's in very, very good condition. It's not damaged. It's unchanged. Is that
Yes,
pretty clear what that means?
yes.
Pachu, can you read the example sentence?
The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
Have you seen that word before? Intact?
Yes, yes,
Yes. Okay, so you're familiar with it. This sentence is pretty clear for you.
yes.
Okay. Can you read the first four words?
The ancient painting was
Okay. What is the second word?
the ancient.
Okay. Pachu, how are you today? What is your
I
answer?
am okay.
No, no, no. What is your normal answer when I ask you, how are you? What do you always say?
I'm fine.
No, you don't. You say great. You always say great.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yes.
That's the same.
Great.
Okay, we have the same sound here. Ancient, ancient. So you start with eh, but then you have to pull your tongue back, like you're making a y sound. A, ancient,
A an ancient.
ancient. Okay, in those four words, which words would you say are very important?
The a- ancient.
Okay,
Ancient.
ancient,
Ancient.
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 I think maybe we could do painting as well. And again,
Yeah.
that's the same sound. That's the same sound that you're having difficulty with. Pain, pain, pain.
Bang. Bang.
Ancient painting,
Bang.
ancient painting.
The 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 ancient painting.
Okay, so, but the words the and was, they'll be very small. The ancient painting was.
The the ancient painting was
Mhm. The ancient painting was. Mohammed, can you say those four words together?
The ancient painting was
Okay. Now, can you read the next three words, Mohammed?
preserved intact in the museum.
Okay, just the next two words is fine. What are
Preserved intact.
okay? Uh-oh. I've gone blurry. I have to fix my camera now. Let me just fix this. It will take a moment. There we go. Okay. Which words do you think should stand out, should sound important in that phrase, preserved intact?
Intact.
Okay. I guess maybe we should be more generous with our accentuation. Maybe we could do both preserved and intact. If we did both of those, if we start with preserved, which which syllable should get the accent in preserved?
Preserved. The middle one.
The middle one or the middle one?
The middle one.
The middle one. Okay. And intact. Which syllable will get all of the sound? Intact.
Intact. I hear it like all have the same emphasis.
Okay, if you hear both of
Intact.
them, let's see. Let's try all three. First we'll do the first syllable. Intact. Now let's do the second syllable. Intact. Now let's do both of them. Intact. Which one sounds best? Intact.
The second one.
Yeah, the second syllable. Because if it were both of them, it would sound like this. Intact. That sounds, you could do it like that if you're angry. So
Yes.
it's possible, but only if you're feeling very strong emotions. Intact. I want it intact. But normally it's intact.
Yes.
Can you say that word? Let's say preserved intact.
Preserved intact.
Hmm. The ancient painting was preserved intact.
The ancient painting was preserved intact.
Pachu, can you say preserved intact?
Preserved intact.
Hmm. The ancient painting was preserved intact.
The ancient painting was preserved intact.
Okay. Pachu, what are the final three words in this sentence?
In the museum.
Okay. Now I'm going to say that final. Which word is most important in that phrase?
The museum.
Okay. I'm going to say that word for you, and I want you to think about which is the biggest syllable. Museum. 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 Which is
Mu.
mu? The other ones are not so big.
Yeah.
Museum. Museum.
Museum.
Say it.
Museum.
Say it again.
Museum. Museum.
This is small. Museum.
The museum. Museum.
So then we have in the in the museum.
In the museum. In the museum.
The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
Okay, that's good. Uh, Mohammed, can you say that final phrase in the museum?
In the museum.
In the museum. Museum. Do you know what? I'm sorry. I've made a mistake. It's Z. Z is the sound. Museum. I don't know. See, this is why I can't do these at night. Museum. It's supposed
Museum.
Yeah, it's supposed to be museum. Pachu, can you say it again? The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
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 Okay. Mohammed, can you say that again?
The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
Okay, Mohammed, can you make a? Oh wait, let's do intonation. Uh, how many phrases can you divide this sentence into, Mohammed?
Two.
What are the two phrases?
It will. First one will end at intact.
Okay. All right. Now, if we look at that first phrase, how would you like that to sound? Do you want it to sound nice and friendly or serious?
Friendly.
Friendly? Okay. So let's do it like this. That means that we have to put some high tones at the end, but of course we have to finish with a low tone because most phrases will finish with a low tone. Let's try this. Was preserved intact.
was preserved intact
And how will our phrase start? Will it start high or low?
in high tone.
Yeah, because most phrases in English will start with a high tone and then go down. But now we're going to make a spike with preserved intact, just to make it sound a little bit nicer. The ancient painting was preserved intact.
The ancient painting was preserved intact.
Mm-hmm. Pachu, can you say that phrase? The ancient painting was preserved intact.
The ancient painting was preserved intact.
Okay. Now, in the final phrase, in the museum, how would you like that to sound, Pachu? Would you like that to sound nice and friendly, or do you want it to sound serious?
I was happy.
Happy? Okay. So we'll put a high tone in there, but we have to finish with a low tone because most phrases end with a low tone.
Yeah.
How will our phrase start, Pachu?
In the museum, museum,
In the museum. In the
in
museum.
the museum,
In the museum.
in the museum.
The ancient painting was preserved intact. In the museum.
The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
Okay. Mohammed, can you say in the museum?
In the museum,
Okay. The ancient painting was preserved intact. In the museum.
the ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
All right. Mohammed, can you make a where ancient painting preserved intact question?
Where did the ancient painting wa- uh, was preserved?
What is in our?
So I will try again.
Go ahead. Uh-huh.
Where did the ancient painting is, state when we saw it in the museum?
What is the verb in this sentence? The ancient painting was preserved intact. What is the principal verb, or what is the verb that we need to work with? Not the principal verb. But what is the most important verb? If you're making a question or a negative, which verb is it important to consider here?
The problem is I want to convert the verb into noun, which is preserved.
Well, you know, the problem really is that you have a passive voice sentence. So here, let's make an active voice sentence for a minute. We have they preserved the painting. Okay. This is an active voice sentence. That means that the focus is on who is doing the action, which is preserve. Okay. So preserve is the verb. Do you agree? Is that does that make sense to you that preserve is the verb?
Yeah.
What is the so that's focusing on who is doing the action. But sometimes we don't really care about this part here. We don't care about who. So in this case, maybe we can make this passive. How will you make this sentence passive, Mohammed? Do you know how to do that?
The painting was preserved.
The painting was
Preserved
preserved. Okay. So now in our first sentence, what is the verb?
preserved
Preserved. Now in our second sentence, what is the verb?
was
Well, it's really two words. Okay, it's was preserved. It's two words. All right. But when you're thinking about making a question or when you're thinking about making a negative, because sometimes, you know, sometimes a verb can be very long, it can be several words long, which is confusing. But when you're thinking about making a question or when you're thinking about making a negative sentence, only the first word is important. You only have to think about the very first word. So what is the first word in our verb?
Preserved.
That's the second word. What is the first word?
Was.
Mhm. Okay. So how do you make a question with the verb to be?
Was the painting preserved?
That's right. That's right. That's the question form. If you have the verb to be, this is how you make a question. Was the painting preserved? How would you make a where question? So that's the question form, the basic question form. Let's make a more interesting, complicated question. How would you make a where question?
Where was the painting preserved?
Where was the painting preserved? That's right. Where was the ancient well, let's see. Where was the let's do the whole thing. Where was the ancient painting preserved? We'll even say intact. Intact. Can you make that say that question? Where was the ancient painting preserved intact?
Where was the ancient painting preserved intact?
Okay, that's right. What is your most important word in that question?
Where?
Okay, where? So let's make it big. Where? Where?
Where?
How will you say where plus was plus the?
Where was the?
Where was the?
Where was the?
Okay. What about the word ancient and painting? Are those important words?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll pronounce it like this. Where was the ancient painting?
Where was the ancient painting?
Okay. And how about preserved intact? Are those important words also?
Intact
Okay.
is important. Yes.
Okay. In intact. So we make it big. We'll make that tact very big. Intact.
Intact.
Where was the ancient painting preserved intact?
Where was the ancient painting preserved intact?
Pachu, can you make that question?
Where was the ancient painting preserved intact?
So, but if the word where is important, then you should make it sound bigger. Where was the?
Where was the?
Where was the ancient painting preserved intact?
Where was the ancient painting preserved intact?
Okay, what is the answer, Pachu, to that question?
The ancient painting preserved intact in the museum.
Okay, museum, museum,
In the museum. In
museum.
the mu,
Make it longer. Museum.
in the museum. The museum.
So let's say that again, but remember that we have to make the special syllables extra long. The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
The ancient painting was preserved intact
Mm,
in the museum.
museum, not museum. I'm sorry, that was my fault. I made a mistake earlier.
In the museum.
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 Z is the big sound. Z is the big sound. Museum.
Mu, museum. Museum.
Hmm. Now,
Museum.
the word preserved, preserved. Where's the big sound?
Preserved.
Hmm.
Preserved.
Okay.
Preserved.
What about the er? Is that a sound that you eat down in your throat, or is that a sound that you push out? Er.
Yeah, it.
Right. Also v. Is that a sound that you push down in that you eat, or is that a sound that you push out of your mouth? V.
Uh, P, uh, push down.
That's right. So what happens to if you have this situation?
Make strong,
Make it longer. Make it much longer.
longer.
Preserved.
Preserved.
Yeah, because if you
Preserved.
preserved, I don't know, maybe people understand you, maybe not. I don't know. But if you say preserved, people will always understand you.
Yes. So yes. So I think in my exam, one task is to repeat the sentence. So if I do in this way, then the algorithm recognize well and give marks. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to
Okay.
pay attention. That's important to do that. Preserved
Yeah.
intact.
Preserved
You have
intact.
to take your time. Don't be in a hurry. The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
Okay, that's good. Muhammad, where was the ancient painting preserved intact?
The ancient painting was preserved intact in the museum.
Okay, wonderful. All right, let's move on to our third vocabulary word, which is a phrasal verb. Muhammad, do you know this phrasal verb? This is a very common phrasal verb. Have you seen it before?
No.
Okay. Well, it's useful to know. I mean, see, now remember earlier we were talking about literal phrasal verbs and abstract phrasal verbs. And I'm sure that you know the literal meaning of turn up, which means to increase the intensity of something. So turn up the volume. Turn up anything when you say turn up, it means make it bigger. And it's very literal.
Yeah.
Turn up, right? Do you understand that? That's very literal.
Yes, yes, I got this.
Okay, so you could look at the word turn and the word up and you could say, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Turn up. But this is the same phrasal verb, the same two words, but it has a different meaning. What does this one mean? Turn up, if it's abstract. That means to
Okay.
that means to appear suddenly, unexpectedly, by magic. Turn up. Okay, that's abstract. Mohammed, can you
Yes.
read the example sentence?
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
What does that mean? What is the idea?
Uh, she didn't expect him to attend the party.
Yeah, okay. The party or the party?
The party.
Hmm. Okay. If a phrasal verb is abstract, which word will get attention? The verb or the preposition?
Verb. Turn.
Right. So she didn't expect him to turn up at the party. So we can
She
automatically
did.
go ahead.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
Yeah, so we can automatically emphasize that word. We know we're going to emphasize that word turn up. Turn up. Pachu, can you read the example sentence? What does it say?
She didn't expect him to turn up the party.
Okay, but we want to make turn longer. Turn up. It's a big special word here. Turn up.
Is turn off. It's
Tur-
turn off.
Not off. Don't say off. That's a different phrasal verb. You have to say up.
Turn up.
Turn
Turn up.
turn up. Turn up.
Turn up.
Okay.
Turn up.
Turn up. That's right. Okay. Pachu,
Yes.
the first one, two, three, four, five words. Can you read the first five words?
She didn't expect him to.
Okay. What word do you think would be special in that phrase? Which word should we put all of our attention on?
With expect.
Okay, expect. And where's the accent? Which syllable is special in that word?
Expect. Pect.
Pecked. Pecked or spect. Probably spect. But there's no S there. You can't, the S is invisible. So we'll just put it expect. Spect. Spect.
Ex, expect.
How would you say
Expect.
the word how would you say the word expect plus him?
Expect him.
Expect him.
Expect him.
Expect him. Expect him.
Expect him.
How would you
Expect him.
how would you say expect plus him plus two?
Expect him to.
Mm-hmm. Or the way that I would say it would be like duh. Expect him to.
Okay. So expect him to. So
Expect him.
expect him to.
Expect him to. Now let's add. We've got this small she didn't ek. She didn't ek. She didn't ek. She didn't ek.
She didn't ask.
Ek. Just ek. We'll put the s with spect. So it's just ek. She didn't ek.
She didn't act.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't
She
act.
didn't ek. She didn't ek.
She didn't act.
She
She
didn't
didn't
expect
act.
him to.
She didn't act. She didn't expect.
She didn't expect him to.
She didn't ask. She didn't expect him to.
Okay. Mohammed, can you say that phrase? She didn't expect him to.
She didn't act him to.
Okay. You can say two. That would be fine. And most people, well, but most people will make because two is a very long, inconvenient sound for such a common word. So it just becomes ta or da, ta or da. That's much easier to say. She didn't expect him to.
She didn't expect him to.
Mm-hmm. Expect him to.
Expect him to.
She, mhm.
To.
She didn't
To.
expect him to.
She didn't expect him to.
Okay. Now, Mohammed, the final phrase, turn up at the party. We already know that turn is going to be an important word. Are there any other important words in that phrase?
Party.
Okay. That has two syllables. Which syllable gets all of the attention? Party.
First one.
The first one. Okay. Turn up at the party.
Turn up to the party. At the party.
Can you say up at the?
Party.
Say up at the like it's one word. Up at the.
Up to the.
Up,
Up to the.
pat the. Pat the.
Up. Up the.
Up at the.
Up the.
Up at the party.
Up to the bar. Up the party.
Uh,
I can't.
it's hard. Up at the. Pat the.
Up the. Up to the.
Say
Up.
Say just not up. Pa. Say pa.
The.
Pat the.
Up the.
Up at the.
Up the.
Up at the party.
Up the party.
Turn up at the
Party.
party. Turn up at the party.
Turn up. Turn up the party.
Okay. She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
Okay, great. Pachu, can you say the final phrase? Turn up at the party.
Turn up the party.
Can you say up?
Up
Can you say
a
Can you say pa?
a pat
Not at, just pa.
a pa
Apata.
a pad the
Apeta.
apeda.
Turn up at the party.
Turn up the party.
Apata.
Turn up at the
Apeta. Apeta.
up at the up
Turn up
at the
party.
turn up the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up the party.
Turn up at the. You forgot the word up.
Turn up the turn up the party.
Now you're missing the word at. Turn up at the. Turn up at the party.
Turn up that
Turn
turn up
up at the.
the party.
Turn up at the. Up at the.
Turn up that turn up there the party.
Can you say
Uh
Can you say pa?
the pan
Pa?
pan
Up at the.
pad the
Turn up at the party.
turn up the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up the party.
Okay. Pachu, how many phrases can you divide this sentence into?
Is it two?
Two? All right. What are the two phrases?
She didn't expect him to turn up.
Okay. She didn't expect him to turn up. That's one phrase. And then
Yeah.
at
And
the party.
the
Okay.
last is at the party.
Now, how do you want this to sound? Would you like it to sound nice and happy and friendly, or do you want it to sound serious?
The happy.
Happy? Okay. So that means we'll have to put some high tones at the end of the phrase, but we also have to put some low tones because phrases normally end in a low tone. So this would be turn up, turn up.
The turn up.
hmm
The turn up.
How will your phrase start, Pachu?
The expect is high.
Okay.
Expect.
She didn't expect him to turn up. She didn't expect him to turn up.
She didn't expect him to turn up.
Okay. Mohammed, can you read that? She didn't expect him to turn up.
She didn't expect him to turn up.
Okay. And how about the final phrase, Mohammed, at the party? How would you like that to sound? Nice and friendly, or do you want it to sound serious?
Friendly.
Friendly? Okay. So that means we'll have to uh, add a high tone to the end, but we'll have to finish low. So this will sound like party, party, party.
Party.
Okay. How will the phrase start?
Party.
Party. How will the phrase start?
At the party. At the party.
Mm-hmm. We'll start high because most phrases start high. At the party.
At the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
Mm-hmm. Pachu, can you say the entire phrase?
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
Uh-huh. Pachu, can you
So,
go ahead?
so I just want to memorize the sentence without looking and want to say it is
Okay,
works or not.
go
Yeah,
and try.
because I have to do in my exam,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have to practice. Otherwise, yeah, it
Go ahead and
is
try it without looking then. Don't look and try it.
okay. So she didn't expect him to turn. Okay. So she didn't expect him to turn at the party. At the
Okay.
party.
Now you said turn. If you only say turn, that means move in a circle. So you have to be very careful and say turn up because that means appear.
Okay.
If you only say turn, that just means moving in a circle. Try it
Okay.
again.
So so she didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
That's right. Yeah, okay. Try to use some intonation. Try to use some music.
Okay.
High low.
Okay. Okay. So she didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
Turn up. Turn up. High low. She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party.
Longwa Juji says, "How do you join the live video with the educator?" Uh, Lingua, there's a Lingua Juji. There's a link to the Discord server in the in the chat. So if you want to join, you can click on that link and join the Discord server. But we really only work with two people at a time. It gets confusing if there are too many. But if you continue watching, sometimes there's a space available and you can join with us. Judy, okay, that's easier than Lingua Juji. Judy, so you can join the Discord server, and when there's only one person or no people, then we can practice. Mohammed, can you make a why not expect question? Why not expect?
Um,
Why not she expect? How would you do that? That's a difficult one.
why? What
Why?
did she?
Why not? Why? How would you make a why not question? That's kind of difficult. How would you do that? Why not? Why she not expect him? How would you do that?
Why? Why wasn't she? Why didn't she?
Yeah. Keep going.
Ex- why didn't she expect him to turn up
At the party. Hmm.
at the party?
Say it again.
Why didn't she expect him to turn up at the party?
Okay, but it's not Barty. You're eating your pea. You're pushing your pea. You're pushing your pea down and making a B. A B. A B sound is a pea that you eat. Okay, but we don't want that. We want you to push the P out and say puh, party.
Why didn't she expect him to turn up at the party?
That's better. That was better. Okay. What is your most important word in that question?
Why?
Why? Okay. How would you pronounce the word why plus didn't plus she?
Why didn't she?
Why didn't she?
Why didn't she?
Why didn't she expect him?
Why didn't she expect him?
Why didn't she expect him to turn up at the party?
Why didn't she expect him to turn up at the party?
Now, is it Barty? Are you eating? Are you eating that, or should you push that out when you say that?
Push that out. Party.
Party. That's right. You have to push it out. Don't push it down. Push it out. Party.
Party.
Hmm. Why didn't she expect him to turn up at the party?
Why did she expect him to turn up at the party?
That's right. Okay. Pachu, can you make that? How will you make that question?
Yeah, we just add why she didn't expect him to turn at the party.
Oh, you have to use the question form. That was not a question.
Why didn't she expect him to turn at the party?
Okay. Did you say turn or turn up?
As a turn up,
Turn up. Turn up.
turn up,
Okay.
turn up.
Don't forget to whistle when you say the word she. She.
She, she,
Hmm. Why did
yeah.
she expect him to turn up at the party?
Why didn't why didn't she expect him to turn at the party?
Judy says this
Turn up.
channel was created on the same date as my birthday. Well, this is your lucky channel then. That means you have to watch all of my videos. Okay, why didn't she expect him to turn up at the party? Okay.
Why okay. Why didn't she expect him to turn up at the party?
Okay. Let's say because they had a fight. Because they had a fight. How would you answer that? Tell me, Pachu, tell me everything. She didn't expect turn up, party, because fight.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party because of fight.
Because they had a fight.
Because they had a fight.
They had a.
They had a
They
they
had a,
had a fight
they had a fight.
because they had a fight.
Okay. She didn't expect him to turn up at the party because they had a fight.
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party because they had a fight.
Okay, that was good. Mohammed, why didn't she expect him to turn up at the party?
She didn't expect him to turn up at the party because they had a fight.
Because they had a fight.
Because they had a fight.
Okay. All right. One more. This is our final word for tonight. Okay.
Yeah,
Mohammed, can you read
okay.
number 4? What does number 4 say?
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
What have you seen that word before? Radiate?
Yes, it's a kind of scientific word.
Oh, it could be a scientific word.
The
What does that mean to you?
ecology is the sun radiates
Hmm.
light.
Yeah, radiate means giving out, pushing out, giving out to everyone. Pachu, have you seen that word before? Radiate?
Yes.
Okay. Can you read the sentence, Pachu?
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
What does that mean? Can you explain that to me? What does that sentence mean to you?
So her smile made happiness
Yeah, give
in the room.
to everyone.
Yeah.
It's going to everyone, right? Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Mohammed, can you read the first 4 words? What are the first 4 words in that sentence?
Her smile seemed to
Okay. If you had to select one word that seemed important to you in that phrase, what?
smile.
Okay.
Smile.
The smile seemed to. I don't know. I think if you said smile, I think that would mean something not neutral. That would mean something very special, like not her clothes, not her hair, not her conversation, but her smile. I think seemed would be a safer word in a neutral sentence because the thing is you can emphasize any word, but it will change the meaning. But I think if this sentence has no special meaning, then I think the word seemed would be the best word to focus on. Does that make sense to you or is that confusing?
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah, because if you say, for example, if I say her smile, that means not his, not theirs, not mine, her smile. So if you choose to emphasize that word, then it has a special meaning. And if you say her smile seemed to radiate, that means not her clothes, not her hair, not her laugh, but her smile. But I think seemed is a word that doesn't really change the idea too much. Okay. Can you say those?
Okay.
So can you say those four words together? But just emphasize the word seemed, and the other words we don't want to emphasize them. We want to make them very small.
Her smile seemed to.
Her smile seemed to. Her smile seemed
Her,
to.
sm- her smile seemed to.
Hmm. Her smile seemed to. Pachu, can you say that? Her smile seemed to.
Her smile seemed to
Okay, Pachu, can you read the next three words?
radiate happiness to.
Okay. What do you think we could focus on in those three words? How many special words are there?
Is it two?
Okay, what are the two special words in that phrase?
Is a radiate and happiness.
Uh, Judy is saying, is the pronunciation American? Yes, yes, I'm from Chicago, so that's pretty American. Can you, so in that word radiate, which syllable has all of the strength, all of the power?
Is a radiate,
Okay,
radiate, rad,
no, but that's your favorite sound, Pachu. That's not re. It's ray. It's two sounds together. Ray.
rai,
Ray.
rai,
Like
rai,
great. Great.
great,
Ray.
right,
Ray.
rai,
Ray.
rai,
Radiate. Radiate.
radiate,
Radiate.
radiate, radiate.
Okay. How about the word happiness? Which syllable has all of the power? Happiness.
Happiness, happiness,
Happy.
hap,
Which one?
hap,
Hap.
happiness,
Okay. Happiness. Happiness.
happiness,
Happiness.
happiness.
Happiness. Okay. So now we're building our big small rhythm. Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Okay. Mohammed, can you read all of those words? Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Hmm. Can you try to emphasize those big words or those big syllables a little bit more? Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Okay. And Mohammed, what are the last five words in this phrase?
To everyone in the room.
Okay. And which words do you think could be special that we should emphasize?
Everyone.
Okay. Everyone in the room. What about room? Do you think we should emphasize room?
No,
No? Okay.
everyone.
All right. Now, if you have two words together, like everyone, which word will normally get all of the attention?
First word.
Okay, the first word. When you have two words together, it's usually the first word that will get all of the attention. Every. Which syllable has all of the power in that word?
First,
The first syllable? Okay, so this was pronounced
yes.
everyone, everyone, everyone,
Everyone.
everyone in the,
Everyone in the.
everyone in the room.
Everyone in the room.
Okay. Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Pachu, can you say everyone in the room?
Everyone in the room.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Okay. Pachu, how many phrases can we divide this sentence into?
So two.
Two. What are the two phrases?
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness
Okay. That's one phrase. And the other phrase?
to everyone in the room.
All right. Now, Pachu, how will you like this first phrase to sound? Do you want it to sound happy and nice, or do you want it to sound serious?
As a happy,
Happy.
happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how will we pronounce this final word, happiness?
As a happy is high and
Okay.
other part ness
So
is low.
we'll give it a high tone to begin with, so that it sounds
With
happy.
the red.
But we have to finish in a low tone because most phrases end in a low tone. Happiness,
Yes.
happiness,
Happiness.
happiness.
Happiness
How will our phrase start?
is a radiate is
Uh,
high.
I not
Seemed is also high.
not radiate, radiate. You have to pronounce that e in ray.
Radiate. Radiate.
Radiate.
Radiate.
That was
Radiate.
that one. That last one was pretty good. Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Mohammed, can you say that phrase? Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness.
Okay. And Mohammed, in the final phrase, how would you like that to sound? Would you like it to sound nice and friendly and happy or serious?
Nice.
Okay. So, how should we pronounce? Well, let's see. What we'll have to do is we'll have to make our special word high, but also begin the phrase high. We don't have much room. We don't have much room here, but maybe we'll make this whole word high. Okay, but we'll finish low because most phrases finish low. So this will sound like to everyone in the room.
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 Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Pachu, can you say the whole phrase?
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Okay, is it radiate or radiate?
Radiate.
Ray,
Radiate.
ray. You got to push your tongue on
Ray.
top. Ray,
Ray.
ray,
Ray.
ray, radiate.
Right.
That was good.
Radiate.
Radiate, great.
Radiate. Radiate. Yes.
Radiate, great. Her smile seemed to
Great.
radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Okay. Uh, let's see. What kind of question could we make? Uh, Pachu, do you know this phrasal verb come across?
Yes,
What does it mean to you, come across? So I think we practiced that before, but probably in a different way.
is a meet unexpectedly.
That's true. Okay. But another way that it can be used means uh, perceive
Okay,
or
proceed.
interpret. So if we made a question, how she come across?
How how did she come across?
That's right. What does that mean, though? If you say, how did she come across to everyone in the room? What does that mean?
Means how she perceived
Yeah,
to everyone.
how did the people see her? How did the people interpret her her feelings or her emotions or her energy? Does that make sense?
Yes, yes,
Okay, that's pretty common. That's a pretty so we've seen come across means to find something by accident, but another way that you can use that phrasal verb means to perceive or interpret something that you see. So oh no, sorry about that. Okay. So this means how did the people see her? How did they interpret her energy? How did they feel her energy?
yes.
Can you make that question again, Pachu? How do you say that?
How did she come across to everyone in the room?
Okay. And when you make that question, what is the most important word?
Is a how did how
How.
how
How. So how will you say how plus did plus she?
how did how did she
How
how did she
how did she?
how did she
Hmm.
how did she
How did she? Mohammed, can
how
go ahead, say it again.
how did she
How
how did she
how did she? How did she?
how did she how did she
Mohammed, can you say that? How did she?
How did she come across
Hmm.
to everyone in the room?
Okay. Uh, what do you think about that phrasal verb, Mohammed, come across? Do you think that this is literal or do you think that this is abstract?
Maybe abstract.
How did she come across? How did she come across? How did she come across? Okay. So, how will you say that? Which word will you emphasize if it's abstract?
Um,
Come? Okay. So, how did she come across?
how did she come across?
Okay. And how will you finish the question?
How did she come across to everyone in the room?
How did she come across to everyone in the room?
How did she come across to everyone in the room?
Hmm. And what is the answer?
She came across as a, a happy person who radiate I will her smile seem to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Okay, we can do it the easy way. We can say her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room. Or you can make your own answer, which I like. What did you say? She came across as, which is fine. That's exactly what you should say as. She came across as, what word would you give someone who radiates happiness? How would you describe someone who radiates happiness?
An lighted person.
What word could we use? Friendly or social or cheerful? What kind of word do you think we could use there?
Cheerful.
Okay, but now remember, it's not cheerful; it's cheerful.
Cheerful.
Yeah, some sounds are big, and it's really important to make them big if you want to be understood well. Cheerful.
Cheerful.
Judy has a question. Go ahead and ask your question, Judy. Okay, so you can say she came across as cheerful.
She came across as a cheerful.
Okay, if you say you need a noun. Cheerful is not a noun. You can say a cheerful person, or you can just say cheerful. She
Uh,
came across as cheerful.
she came across as a cheerful.
Good. Or you can say her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Okay, Judy says, what does pred mean? I've never seen the word pred before. Are you sure that's the right way to spell it? Or where did you find that word? Because I've never seen that word before. Pachu, how did she come across to everyone in the room?
She came across as cheerful to everyone in the room.
As. She came across as cheerful.
She, she came across as cheerful to
Mhm.
everyone in the room.
She came across as cheerful to everyone in the room. That as means like similar, she or related to, something like that. She came across as cheerful to everyone in the room. Or go ahead and say that one more time.
She came across as cheerful to everyone in the room.
Or what is the alternative answer? Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Radiate or radiate?
Radiate, radiate,
Re,
radiate,
radiate.
radiate,
Her smile
radiate.
radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Her smile seemed to radiate happiness to everyone in the room.
Okay, great. All right. I think I will be returning in about 9 hours to do another reading of Gone with the Wind. We're getting close to the end of that book. That's a very, very long book, but we're almost finished with it.
Yeah.
So if you want to practice more, I will be returning in about 8 or 9, I think 9 hours from now. Okay. And thank you, everyone, for your questions, and thank you for participating, Mohammed and Pachu. And I hope you come back and we can work together again. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
Have a good morning or night,
Good night.
whatever it is. Bye bye.
Bye bye.